Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror thriller from the United States, English language, released in the year 2017, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and this film is called Split. So Split is about this man. He's seeing a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist gives us a bit of exposition in telling us that he has 23 personalities. So all these personalities consist of numerous different people, including a woman, a man with obsessive compulsive disorder, and a young child that is 9 years old. So the psychiatrist is asking him questions about how he gets by, and she's trying to get to the bottom of why he is this way. So she believes that maybe he's had a very troubled past, but then this is where she actually finds out that there is a 24th personality that hasn't actually been shown yet, and the man is telling her that he's coming, and that this woman doesn't know if he's making it up or if in fact it's true and that people are in danger. So what she also doesn't know is that this man has kidnapped 3 young girls. Now these 3 young girls are at the mercy of this 24th personality, so they don't know what's going on exactly, but when they come to grips with this guy as being a complete lunatic, they have to make a way out, because he's constantly telling them that they're not going to like this 24th personality. So in order to get out, they're going to try and manipulate the personality of the 9-year-old child. So whenever he comes to the front, they're going to try their best to actually convince this 9-year-old child personality to let them go before it's all too late. So whether or not they can, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Split. I really wanted this film to work. Now when the Visit, I thought The Visit was a step in the right direction in what M. Night Shyamalan knows best. Now I don't subscribe to the popular opinion that M. Night Shyamalan lost his mojo. I actually thought that he still had really good techniques in his films, such as After Earth and The Last Airbender. Yes, they weren't great films, but he still had that quirkiness that are present in a lot of his other films. And so I never thought he really lost it. I just thought he was going away from what he knew best. So when he come back to The Visit, I thought it was a throwback to what made him so good in the first place. That wasn't a great film, it wasn't the most unique film, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. So coming into Split, I really wanted this film to work, and after I saw the movie, I will say that M. Night Shyamalan is back to his very best. This is a very, very good film, and it's a film that could be easily spoiled, so I'm going to try my best not to give away any spoilers, but I thought this movie really worked is because he's going back to the good old-fashioned quirky M. Night Shyamalan. This movie does have the quirky camera angles, it has the quirky dialogue and the quirky characters, and it's everything you want from this man, and it showcases that he is one of the great directors. This is a man who has his own style, and you can put him in the category of Lars von Trier, Michael Haneke, and Gaspar Noé, in that when you watch a film, you know it's M. Night Shyamalan, you know it's his style. So he's one of the most unique filmmakers, and I think especially in the United States, where it's all about remakes and it's all about flogging over very generic formulas, you really have to encourage these types of directors, and I think Split is just an indication of how unique this guy can be and how brilliant this guy can be. Storytelling in Split was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was a very simplistic approach, but it was actually quite complex in a lot of subtleties. And so subtleties is where this guy really thrives, in that you've got this situation where these girls have been kidnapped and you don't know what's going on, but then it goes into very brief flashbacks where it feeds you little clues as to what is going on. So when it goes back to the present day, it becomes more and more intriguing. And so I think the reason why this worked is that it had a fine blend, is that you had a situation that wasn't as interesting, in that when it goes to a flashback, you're not constantly saying let's get back to present day, because every time you get that flashback, the present day becomes more and more interesting, but the flashbacks are done very, very rapidly, so you never really feel like it's being distracted. So there's a fine blend. It never gets lost from its present day, but it gives you enough in the brief flashbacks to make the present day even more interesting, and so I really, really like that. And then you've got the ending, which is absolutely unforgettable, and it makes everything make sense. That there's some parts in this film that are a little bit silly, and you think, okay, that really doesn't work, but in typical M. Night Shyamalan fashion, you think that all the silliness was for a specific reason, and when it comes all together, it makes a lot of sense. And so it feels like these plans were executed to perfection in what was yet, as I said, another very memorable experience from this director. I thought, this director and M. Night Shyamalan wouldn't have been able to make this film without a brilliant script. I thought the script is fantastic, and the script is complemented by an absolutely mesmerising performance from James McAvoy. This guy plays 23 characters. He doesn't actually play all 23 in the film. He plays quite a handful of characters or personalities, and even though it's the same actor, you feel as though they're different people. And so this guy really, he actually took full advantage advantage of the great script, and he made a character that was so intriguing. And a lot of people say that this is demeaning towards mental illness, and once again, like I said with the Get Out review, in that you're looking for problems that really aren't there, this is using mental illness to create a very interesting character. And I thought the character was complemented by a brilliant performance by James McAvoy, and everyone is going on about how he deserves an Oscar, and I would say, he definitely deserves an Oscar. He deserves awards for what the character that he has portrayed, but then you can't forget the fact that the script allowed him to be the character that he was. And so I thought this is a very scary film, and the brilliant thing about this movie, as the case with Signs, especially Signs, you've got Unbreakable, you've got numerous other M. Night Shyamalan films where you've got a very entertaining movie, but you've got something to really think about. And I thought this movie was a soul-searching film. It was a very sad film, but at the same time has that entertainment, and that's something you get from M. Night Shyamalan. So the camera angles were absolutely fantastic. It's a very quirky style of film in the way that the actual camera looks at the characters, and the way the characters deliver their lines, and the characters, how they, their exchanges with each other. It's very typical of this director. So if you like the way that M. Night Shyamalan went about his business in the older days, you're going to really like the way that Split looks and sounds. So I really liked that. I thought there was a lot of suspense in the film, done from subtleties once again, whether it's just James McAvoy's character talking to this psychiatrist, or talking to the kidnap victims, saying that the 24th personality is coming, he's on the move, you're not going to like what's going to happen, and so you're on the edge of your seat. And the more he talks about this personality, the more intrigue you get, and the more flashbacks that feed a little bit more clues to the overall present day, it just gets you on the edge of your seat, and it feels as though it's not really trying. It's all coming through very naturally. M. Night Shyamalan doesn't force feed anything in this film. It just feels like it's slowly creeping up on you, and by the end of the film you will feel as though you have watched a very rewarding experience. So my only problems with the movie is that here and there were some pacing issues. I thought that it could have been it could have been tidied up a little bit in the middle. There were some sections where they were talking, and I thought, okay, it's not getting boring, it's not derailing the experience, but it could have just been edited a little bit more tightly, and it could have just had that fluency just a little bit more. But having said that, the continuity was very good. It never loses interest, and the end is a complete payoff that makes everything make sense, and I'm not going to give that away. So if you want to know how this film unfolds, I would definitely recommend you go out there and see it, because it is a very, very good movie, and it's just an indication that M. Night Shyamalan is really back on his game. So overall, for Split, going to give it 4 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.